Hello everybody.
Hello.
Lovely to see you. Thanks for coming. So topic for tonight, everything happens for a reason. Slightly longer, normally I just go for one word. Lengthened it for tonight. We'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. Let's start with an exercise, just to get us all nicely in the moment. So let's just start with a bit of listening. So close your eyes if you wish, and just begin to shift your awareness to sound. Just being aware of sound and allowing sound to happen and allowing your ears to accept the sound. As you listen, if your mind wanders, it doesn't matter. Just be aware that thoughts or ideas have come into your head, and just accept that they're there and return your awareness to just listening. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes. So, the phrase, everything happens for a reason, it's something that I say to people. And I suppose does anybody else say that?
I don't.
Yeah. And we often, I suppose the most often occurrence for us saying it is when things don't go the way that we intend them to go. When somebody's disappointed or whatever, we'll say, oh, no, it's all right, everything happens for a reason. And what prompted me to think of that as a topic was when Grace was talking last week. She was talking about the bowl. She brought the bowl out. I thanked her again for the loan of the bowl. And then she told the little story of how the bowl arrived here. And the bowl originally belonged to her mother, who stashed it away somewhere, and then fetched it out and gave it to Grace for her to sell at a car boot fair. So take this and car boot it. So Grace took it, and as it was sat in her house, she thought, well, it's too nice a thing to sell at a car boot sale. I can't quite bring myself to do that. So she said it then became the camping bowl. When she went camping with her friends, they would take it, and it was then used to, summon people to breakfast, or it became a tool for gathering people together. And then it sat a bit longer in her house gathering dust, and then the group started, and she saw about the group, and she came along, and then thought, oh, look, the bowl might be of use there, and so she loaned the bowl to the group, and it's subsequently become a very key member of the group. It gets wheeled out every week, and every week we invite the bowl to sound, and some of us love it, and then when I squeak it, other people loathe it. But it's an incredibly useful and powerful tool, and I certainly appreciate it, and I hope that you all appreciate the sound of the ball and the fact we have this thing. And of course that then got me thinking to how events occur. You know, if Grace's mum hadn't said, you know, what if Grace's mum had not said, can't boot this, or what if Grace had taken it to a car boot sale and sold it, or what if it had gone on a camping trip and some clumsy drunken oaf had smashed it, tripping over it one evening.
I was just thinking, if it's done all those miles,
well,
she's done well to keep
well,
it
yeah, exactly. You know, and then all those little events led the bowl to be where it is now, sat next to me. Now, is that fate? Is that some preordained? You know, is that destiny? Was it always prescribed that would be the events that unfolded, or is it just some haphazard collection of moments that brought it to us? I don't know. And I suppose the same is true of everything else. You know, I suppose that I'm sure there are people here who perhaps believe that everything is set already, the story of our lives and the events that are to unfold are already preordained, and it's maybe written somewhere, and that's how things will pan out. Maybe people believe that there is some higher purpose that has a plan for us, or maybe not. And then I was cogitating on this, thinking about it, and trying to think of the mindful perspective on it. Because in terms of mindfulness and being in the present moment and accepting that this moment right now is the only moment in time that actually exists, if that's the case, then there isn't some master plan, is there? There is only this moment. So how does it fit together? I haven't got a conclusion on this, by the way. I never do. But I mean, opening it up to the floor, what are people's ideas or thoughts on that? Is there anybody here that, you know, particularly believes it's all destiny or
I do.
Yeah?
Very strongly.
Okay. Oh, that's fine.
just stating the case. You said, is anybody, and I do.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
I do think we've all got a set path, and I don't think it can be avoided.
No. Does anybody here believe that you have some say in it?
I do, because I felt like that before, that was the case, but I think I've come to the conclusion you have moments where you can choose a different path. You can carry on the same path, but you can ultimately choose a different path. Which one? I don't know.
Whatever path
you think
choose,
you come
you're going to
back.
go back on
you
the
do
one.
Think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you remember that? I don't know if anyone would remember them. There used to be books that you could buy when I was in my probably.
Fighting Fantasy.
And you could choose.
Oh,
you
good right. Slane the warrior.
If you want to do something, you go to this chapter.
You go to that.
That's kind of my opinion, that we are a book, and a bit like you said, yes, there is a destiny, but within that destiny, you can take some different paths.
Do you think there's only one outcome at the end?
No.
You're going to lead you to that one.
I suppose there's only one outcome.
Ultimately.
Yeah, ultimately.
Yeah, ultimately. Word for word.
There's only one
but I suppose
ultimately.
the difference with the books is, when you're reading those books, you stick your fingers in the pages the previous.
Just in case.
So when you get to the page that says you are beaten to a bloody pulp by an ogre, you go, actually no, well I didn't mean to turn left and turn back and go into the front. What I meant to do is go right. So
there could be parallel moments at the same time.
I mean, you quite often hear, particularly in tragedies where for some reason somebody wasn't on a boat that sunk and was killed a week or so later.
Yeah.
It seems to be that you cannot dodge it when it's meant for you.
There is, I suppose, there is a part of that. I mean, that's what I was thinking as well. I was thinking because you know, there are those moments where, you know, maybe you're sat in the car and you think, okay, well, I could let this person pull out, or I could leave them to wait at the junction a little bit longer. Now, if you let them pull out, maybe that gets them, you know, 20 seconds further on in their journey and causes them to plough head on into a bus. Whereas if they'd waited at the junction, that wouldn't have happened.
But that's not
Maybe it was
very
for you,
mindful,
or-
is it? Because
but
you're
no.
thinking about
Exactly.
something you don't know.
No.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's
No.
yes, that's the kind of point that I'm
Right. Yeah.
steering towards hopefully is, as much as we like to think that we can map things out, or in that scenario, as I said, you can't know. You can't.
Taking your scenario, it should be a good thing to let that person out.
But exactly. Well, that's it. You'd think you'd be the conscientious driver and giving them right to
Yeah,
way.
thoughtful and in the event of all this thing.
And then it
times
would.
has something happened and you've said, if only I'd not done, or if only I had done, it would have been different. Well, it wasn't, because it happened.
Well, there's numerous stories. I mean, there's the film, isn't there? Is it Sliding Doors?
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but I'm aware of it, and that's very much like that,
Yes,
isn't
it
it?
is.
If one tiny little incident affects the entire outcome of the story, you see both stories.
Don't watch it and drink at the same time.
No.
You get lost.
No,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, you need your wits about you, don't you? But it is a good
Sliding
film.
Doors.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is a good
It's
film.
quite an old film.
And then there was I think there's another story where there's a chap who can time travel, and he goes back in time to way before man, you know, as man was just emerging to become civilized and things. And he, whilst he was walking through some woods, he trod on a butterfly and killed the butterfly. And thought nothing of it. You know, these things happen, it's just a butterfly, shame and all that, but it's just a butterfly. And then when he returns to his present time, he doesn't, language is completely different. The written word looks completely different. Because
Is it called Butterfly?
I'm
Sorry.
not sure,
I
possibly.
haven't seen it. I think is that the one?
Well, it might be a separate story, I'm not sure, but the premise of it is that back in time, somebody saw that butterfly and took the shape of the butterfly and used it as a symbol that they then incorporated into their written text. And because they never saw the butterfly, never used the shape of a butterfly's wing to create a letter B, the alphabet never developed as it did, and so language was completely different, and you know, suddenly this guy finds himself completely lost in his own time because of this tiny incident. But not that that's ever going to affect us unless you've secretly got a time machine hidden in the back of the fridge.
Why the fridge?
Well, where else are you going to keep one? Well, where do you keep yours?
I like this.
I don't have a garage. I have to put mine in the fridge, keep it cold. Yeah. So, there's that word again. What if I didn't say so all the time?
We wouldn't think it was you.
No, that's it. That's it. I'd lose my that part of my vernacular is deeply ingrained. I guess in terms of things being preordained, or that journey that sets things out, there is a point to it. You know, as you strongly believe that there's a path, and there is definitely, and from the mindful perspective, there is a distinct path, because everything that has happened previously has led you to this moment, right now, this present moment, the only moment that actually exists, the only moment within which we can experience life. So everything that has gone on before did happen for a reason, That reason is this moment right now. And because of that, we can have, should have, no regrets, there should be no analysis. There's no need to analyse it all. It's brought us to here. This is where we are. And the only thing that we can do is accept that all things have brought us to this point and will continue to take us to other points.
And so you're exactly where you're meant to be. It's another way of saying it.
Exactly right. You are exactly where you're meant to be, and nowhere else. Unless that parallel universe things.
Who knows?
That's
In which
that's
case
a
I could be
statement
on
that I think if you're in a good place, it's a lovely statement. If life's
Yes.
throwing some real lemons at you, and someone says, "Well, you're exactly where you're meant to be," you think I want to punch them.
Oh yeah. Yes.
But
And
it may be in a negative situation
Yeah.
to give you the factor for change, if you like, pointer.
But there's sorry.
No, I was just going to say there's this thing about cycles though.